Thank you to all my channel members, including my fan appreciation level members and my contributor level members, for helping support the YouTube channel. Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Jonathan Cohn, and today I have my book review of the book Star Wars Galaxies, The Ruins of Dantooine by Veronica Whitney Robinson with Haden Blackman. This is one of the more curious Star Wars books out there. For one, it is not talked about much. It is, you look for reviews of this book, there's not many out there, there's not much discussion, it's not one of those books that makes it onto the top 10 Star Wars books lists. It doesn't either make it on the top 10 worst lists either. It's just not talked about. So that's one of the weird things about it. Two, it is a connection to a game, a video game I never played because it was out before I was playing video games, but the game Star Wars Galaxies. And so it's a tie-in to a game that I don't know much about. But also, this is a book with a, in my opinion, horrendous cover. And I normally don't use words like that, but this is a really bad cover. And someone on the channel commented recently, they said, this cover has gotten to the point where it's so bad it's good. And they're kind of right, because it kind of is a little bit enticing because of how bad it is. Although I was talking to the current editor of the Star Wars books on Twitter, and he basically said that they like it and that they actually had the opportunity to change it recently and they didn't. And so I don't know whether the cover is holding it back. It probably is. Whether it's just the video game tie-in, or maybe it's just it came out when people were reading the other stuff, because I think it came out during the Legacy of the Force. I mean, before the Legacy of the Force, but after the New Jedi Order stuff, so maybe it got lost in the shuffle. I don't know, but it's not a book talked about much. Yet I made a decision to read all the Star Wars EU novels, so I picked this up, and I read it real quick. It's not a long book. It's like, what, like 300 pages? Not even that. It's like 280 pages. So it's a really short read. And what I'll say about this book is that there's a lot of curious decisions made in the book. You basically follow two characters. You have the scientist character that you're following, and then you kind of have the rebel spy character. And they two meet up, and the scientist, you know, her family has had it bad under the Empire, but she's not anti-Empire. She's just not had it good under the Empire. And so you see her kind of decide to join the rebellion eventually. And so she goes on this kind of adventure with the spy to try to uncover some information, particularly to uncover information on Dantooine that the rebels left behind when they abandoned their base there. And you see you know, a lot of main Star Wars characters kind of show up here. You see them go on some kind of side quests with some kind of smuggler type characters. And there's a couple of times in this book, especially the adventure at the end with Dantooine, I could see the kind of exploration stuff in the video game. The stuff in the middle with working with the smuggler I could see. But there's not a lot of action in the book. And I don't know why a book that is an adaptation of a video game wouldn't have that much action. Maybe the video game didn't have action. If you've played it, let me know in the comment section what you thought. But I just thought it was curious that there wasn't a lot of action in the book. And so that just didn't make sense to me. And then the book just feels so bland. You know, there's nothing special. There's nothing about this book that made me think, oh man, that's a really cool. Maybe the twist, because there's kind of a twist at the end of the book, and maybe you could say that that twist at the end is what makes it special, but I don't think it's enough to justify the specialness of the book. And so as a result, it's kind of bland. I don't think it's a bad book. It was an entertaining read, you know. I thought the characters were handled fine. I thought that the story was okay, you know, it was an interesting plot line, but it was bland. There was nothing to really pull me in. And that's like that's a worse sin than to actually have a bad book. Because I don't really have much I can talk about that I enjoyed with this book. Just stuff at the beginning where a character gets killed and that kind of spurs our scientists into action. And it was very Andor-esque. If you've watched the TV show Andor Season 2 in particular, Episode 10, there's a moment in here that kind of mirrors Episode 10. And I thought that was a really cool moment. But as towards the beginning of the book. But there was like this gambling stuff on Naboo that was interesting. And so you're on different planets that were kind of fascinating, and there's a plotline at the very beginning where this Inquisitor, which is not the type of Inquisitor you see in like Rebels, but the EU Inquisitor who meets with Darth Vader and is talking to him on Naboo about dealing with these rebels. And that scene was kind of interesting, but then it doesn't really go much of anywhere. And so it was just, okay, that's where they went. And Dantooine itself is not until like the last 80 pages of the book, so it's only in less than a third of the book as a whole. So as I said, just a lot of weird decisions with the book, and it doesn't draw you in. It just doesn't capture you. I think there are much worse Star Wars books, but there's not many more books that are forgettable and bland. And this is one of those. I will forget the plot line of this book in a couple of weeks. It's inevitably going to happen just because it's so bland. So if you've read the book Star Wars Galaxies: The Ruins of Dantooine, let me know your thoughts on it. What do you think of the cover? Is it bad? Is it so bad it's good? Is it good? Is it bland? What do you think of the cover here? And what else do you think of the other media-tied fictions like the video games and stuff? And until next time, I'm Jonathan, and thank you for watching.